Hi, I'm JP.
And I'm Adam.
I've never seen Lost.
I have.
I'm told that it's good.
I liked it.
I'm told that it made sense.
Sort of.
But we're watching it out of order.
So it definitely won't make sense.
But it might still be good. Since we won't expect it to make sense, we'll still be able to appreciate each episode on its own merits as a 1-hour story.
Sometimes 2 or 3.
As opposed to just a fraction of an ongoing, sprawling, and increasingly complex tangle of relationships, personal stories, mysteries, mythologies, experiments, social dynamics, unnatural disasters, unanswered questions, and hot tropical hookups.
Are you okay?
I'm not sure.
Because you lost me a little bit there at the end.
Well, good, because I've been lost since the beginning.
We're lost on Lost. Welcome, everybody, to Lost on Lost. I'm Adam Busher, and I'm joined, as always, by Lost on Lost management trainee / special assistant, JP Russell.
1 month running.
So, JP.
Yes.
This episode is going to be airing just a couple of days before Halloween.
Spooky.
You've always had, or you've had pretty good success in the past with Halloween costumes. We should put up that picture of you and your partner and former Lost and Lost guest Kai dressed up as Roston Dorlang from True Detective in our socials. But I'm wondering, based on that, if you've got a costume in mind for this year.
I do. I'm going as Mothman.
Awesome. Based
on our conversation we had with Kevin Heyer. So
I'm probably just going to do like a scary zombie monster thing, like maybe like Nemesis from Resident Evil Apocalypse or Ronald Reagan. Today we're talking about In Translation, the 17th episode of Season 1 and the 17th episode of Lost overall. Our centric character is everyone's favorite fishing boy, Jin Soo Kwon.
Mm-hmm.
In Translation takes place on the 32nd, 33rd, and 34th days after the crash of Oceanic Flight 815. JP.
That's me.
Got a recap?
Sure do.
Let's do it.
Somebody call the fire marshal. On the island, things are heating up. With the raft! A mysterious case of arson has all of our survivors hot with tension. Fingers are immediately pointed at our sweet boy, Jin. Say it ain't so, Jin. We need you to be innocent. You've set our hearts ablaze. Speaking of wanting someone to massage your feet, Saeed and Shannon begin kindling their relationship. Boone doesn't seem too happy about it, but who gives a shit? And in the before times, we see Jin accidentally become an enforcer, and he's really fucking good at it. We see the beginnings of how Sun and Jin's relationship begin to strain. Will they stay together? Will they break up? If they break up, does anybody have a time machine I can borrow? Hey, Walt, can I borrow $83,000? This is In Translation. Adam, we have a guest.
Were we scheduled to have her? Well, I mean, if they're here already, that's fine.
Yeah, okay. Bat for the hat trick. Welcome back to the show, Kim Davister.
Hiya.
Yay, welcome back, Kim.
Glad to be back.
You're returning relatively soon, so you probably haven't watched too much new in between your last appearance and this one, but has there been anything going on TV-wise, movie-wise?
Well, I realized that I never mentioned what I had been watching last time, which was Ted Lasso, like the best show ever. And believe it or not, I just started watching, The Bear.
Oh, sure. Yeah, that's a new show. Sure.
Okay.
It's pretty good. I haven't finished the first season yet, but it's good. And I just started watching Loot and Uncoupled.
Loot. Is that the Maya Rudolph show?
It is. And I love it.
I want to see that real bad.
It's fun. There's so many like real quick one-liners that are just like, oh, that was good.
What's Uncoupled?
Uncoupled, I literally just found last night at like midnight. It is Neil Patrick Harris on Netflix. It's a Netflix original. And he's like a real estate agent in New York City. And his long-term boyfriend, like 17 years live-in boyfriend, dumps him just like randomly. So it's just kind of like following him. I don't know. It's at least watchable so far.
Okay.
High praise.
That's all we're striving for sort of here on the podcast as well, is just listenable.
Exactly.
I mean, it was already midnight and I didn't like fall asleep. So it can't be too bad. I don't know.
There you go.
Fantastic. Hey.
That was cute.
Do you guys want to talk about some Lurst?
Yeah, I took some notes.
Yeah, sure. We can do that.
Okay, I suppose.
In Translation originally aired on February 23rd, 2005. It was written by Javier Grillo Marxwatch and Leonard Dick, and it was directed by Tucker Gates. Javier Grillo Marxwatch recently wrote an episode of the live-action Cowboy Bebop, just like last episode's Jennifer Johnson, and also appears on Wikipedia's list of Puerto Ricans.
Just all of them?
Yeah, it was all the way at the bottom. It said, see also, list of Puerto Ricans.
What?
Leonard Dick did 6 episodes of Lost, as well as writing for the hit Fox shows House and Mad TV. According to Wikipedia, he was born in Toronto, but for whatever reason did not make their list of Canadians.
Okay.
It's pretty bad.
Tucker Gates is a prolific TV director working on such powerhouse shows as Samantha Who, Huff, and Touch, all of which were canceled after 2 seasons. In addition to that, he also directed one of my favorite Lost Season 6 episodes, Across the Sea. So, strikes and gutters, you know? All right. So, In Translation starts with an I.
Drink.
And we can just move past that part.
Oh, no, hold on. I'm sorry. The pacing on this episode is super weird. And it's like, we cut to Jin, then we go to an out of focus shot of the beach. Thanks, Brock.
Richard Brock strikes again.
And then we just go back to a flashback. And I'm like, couldn't we have just started with a flashback?
That's what I thought. We did the
There's
I.
so much jumping.
Yeah.
Yes.
The jumping is, But I thought that same thing. We start with the I, we cut to this tableau, and then just like, it was like seconds of just, okay, it's like, well, Jin's here. As though if we wouldn't have just started in flashback, we wouldn't have known.
I've never seen Jin wear a suit. Who's this guy that looks like Jin? Who's wearing a suit? I have face blindness.
This is how Batman can exist as Batman and
that's true.
Or Superman, yes, whatever, either of them, any superhero.
At least Batman covers part of his face. Superman just wears glasses.
So we immediately cut to a flashback, and Jin is standing in Sun's dad's office. Nobody's saying anything. Dad is writing on some papers. Jin is just standing there waiting patiently, and you can tell kind of nervously, a little tepidly. And I just wrote, this meeting could have been an email. But eventually they get to talking, and the crux of the conversation is Jin is there to ask for permission to marry Sun.
Yeah.
And Dad starts grilling him, you know, what do you do? What are your ambitions? All this stuff. And he throws sort of a sneaky little Uno reverse on him, because he's like, well, would you come work for me? And he's like, well, yeah, sure. Well, then why would you just give up your dreams? And he fucking, without hesitation, hits Pops with, because Sun is my dream. Like, she's my dream.
Oh man, he nailed that.
I was moister than an oyster. Holy hell. I was like, I want to marry this guy.
Very good response to a bullshit question.
Already crying at the beginning of the episode. Like, come on, Jin.
Why would I promise my daughter to a man who gives up his dream so easily? Well, you didn't let me finish. Working for you would just be a stepping stone into opening my own restaurant and hotel. I would take the money that I would get from you after you die and invest it in a hotel. That's what I would have said. And then he would have been like, okay, get out of my office.
He'd be like, hey, give me back my watch. I did also note that that color gray suit looks really good on Jin, but boy, the early 2000s went a little too overboard with shoulder pads.
Man.
That was a Steve Harvey-esque cut on that jacket.
Steve Harvey-esque.
I'm glad we all noticed. Thank you.
That is so spot on with the description. Yes, 100%.
Looks good on you, though.
Get a free bowl of soup with that
hat? Based on Jin's response to the question, Mr. Peg does give him his blessing.
It gives him a good hearty put her there handshake.
Yeah.
It's beautiful.
Cut back to the beach.
Speaking of beautiful, Jesus.
You know how you're not supposed to stare at the sun because you'll go blind?
Right.
The same applies.
Yes. Same. Sun is heading out to go for a little swim, and I don't blame her. You know,
it's fucking hot out. You're in the jungle.
Yeah,
the ocean's right there.
Yeah, but she's wearing a bikini, which, if you're married to Jin, is apparently a bit of a no-no.
Yeah.
So he's a bunch of people see her because it's just the beach. It's where everybody lives. So he like goes barreling over there with a wrap
like
towel.
a shawl.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Goes and tries to cover her up, and they get into an argument.
Yeah, and it's clearly, we're at the point in Lost on Lost canon where not everybody knows that Sun speaks English, so they are arguing in Korean, and everybody on the beach is there to see this marital argument take place.
Jack. Oh, there they go again.
Yeah, I was really annoyed with this whole thing.
Yeah, go on.
I just remember watching this being so like, y'all just stay in your lane, like until like it's a cultural thing and it's a stay in your lane, but also not, because like I get where they're coming from. I don't know. There's just
like even if
I
it's
think
not a
it's
cultural
supposed
thing,
to make you feel uncomfortable.
Yeah, even if it's not a cultural thing, like most people wouldn't go up and split up a couple arguing, like just bickering back and forth. And to his credit, Michael doesn't involve himself until it starts to get physical.
Right.
So like that part tracks to me. Like if I just saw a couple arguing on the sidewalk, I'd be like, God, that seems exhausting. But then if you like grabbed her and started shaking her, I'd be like, whoa, hey, hands off, pal. This is not.
Yeah, let's not do that.
Yeah. So
yeah, they have a minor. It's almost like he's pulling on the cover or something like that.
He's trying to physically cover her up,
right? And she ends up
she's
tripping.
fighting him off. Yeah,
right.
Yeah, I was gonna say I don't think he actually pulls on her to the ground.
No,
I think
it wasn't
she's
like
holding
I'm
on to the
trying
towel
to knock you over. Right.
Yeah, like she's refusing to let go. So it's not like he's like purposefully abusing her.
Right.
She's
still not being nice about it, but
Right.
it wasn't malicious act.
Right.
But then Michael feels the need to interject, and he does, and he's very hey, what the hell are you doing? And Sun slaps the fucking shit out of him.
Oh, it was beautiful.
Sun and Jin begin to walk away. She takes him by the hand.
Yeah.
And then he pulls away.
Yeah.
So again, Kim, like you were saying, it's a cultural difference. Like this is a matter for husband and wife, and how dare you get involved? But Jin's still not happy with the situation.
Right. When the thing is too, that moment where he pulls his hand away really sets the tone for the entire episode.
Yeah,
the whole episode is just, it's all about communication or lack thereof.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
right? Like
absolutely.
So much of this episode could be solved by just like saying the things and feeling the feels. Anyway, so
there's
Therapist
a lot of
Kim,
that in this show.
Therapist Kim is going to come out in a little bit. And
I like to think that the last thing that Sun said to Jin before they started walking off was, "Get your purse, we're leaving," and then grabs him by the hand and drags him off.
I hope so.
So we that's our cold open. We cut to the caves.
We've followed Jin and Sun to there to finish their conversation. We get subtitles here so we can actually hear what they're saying, us the audience. Jin sort of like doesn't like say the words, "You and Michael are having an affair," but like he asks like, "What's going on with the two of you?"
Right, like why does he? And we talked about this before on the podcast. There's some weird tension between Sun and Michael, and I don't know if that plays out anywhere, but there's some like just weirdness. He has a fondness for her in some way.
We did see that early on in their history on the island, Michael did see her naked accidentally one time, but that's
and
not
there's
enough.
been a few other minor instances too.
Like that accidental peeping thing must have been the first in a series of things, because him accidentally seeing her naked weeks ago doesn't bring them to bring their relationship to this level. So there must be other stuff that's happening with the two of them that we haven't necessarily seen. Mm-hmm. But yeah, she's like, nothing's happening. I mean, come on. Yeah. How dare you?
I did a really deep dive. This scene looked more in focus than most of the show. And I was trying to figure out if they like switched lenses or cameras, and the internet doesn't do a really good breakdown of what lenses they use from episode to episode. But I checked, and yes, Brock is still drunk at the helm, so he must have just been having a bad day and accidentally got things in focus.
Well, I gotta think that shooting in the caves is a little bit easier than shooting out in the whatever, because this is a set. So yeah, so it's she denies that there's anything going on between her and Michael, and what Jin is asking, yes, nothing, that type of thing. There's nothing happening, but there is some sort of thing with Michael that she could, again, like Kim, like you said, she could say, but she can't tell him what's going on with her and Michael without revealing her big secret. So
wait, what is going on with her and Michael?
But she could explain it.
I thought
this could be an like you said, this could be an opportunity for her to tell the truth, to share, to whatever. But
Right.
it's all seated on the big lie, the big secret.
Which is the English thing?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the cave scene leads into a flashback. It's
Wedding day,
yeah,
baby.
Son, it must be after the wedding. There must be like headed to the reception or anything, because like unless
I
that's
thought
just
that
an
it was
American
before
thing,
the wedding. I think that's just an American thing.
where you're not the bride, because like he's like, can I have a moment with my
I think he says wife.
yeah?
Doesn't he?
I think she's changing into a reception
Oh.
gown, because if that's her wedding
I think
dress,
so, too. Hey now.
Oh, I don't know.
I mean, no, it's a pretty dress. It's not a wedding dress.
Listen, listeners,
maybe
neither
for her.
Adam nor Kim nor I have ever been to a traditional Korean wedding. And if you
This is
need
fair.
a wedding DJ / people to just dunk on your wedding, hit us up at wearelostandlost@gmail.com. So yeah, she's doing a little wardrobe change.
Yes.
And Jin's getting a little, she's like, hey, can you zip me up or whatever?
No,
me
it's
up.
button, which I found really interesting because I was like, you think he's gonna, ain't no way. It's way easier to just take that dress off. You better call your friend back in here and get her to button it up, because like that's gonna take forever.
Yeah.
Right.
But yeah, he gives it a little, do I have to? Gives her.
A little smooch on the shoulder kind of thing,
Couple smooches.
Smoochies.
They talk about going on honeymoon, stuff like that, and he's like he tells me, he's like, hey, we're gonna go on the honeymoon once I finish management training. This is he personally feels a pretty major responsibility to Son's father, because he's got his own self-esteem issues, his own self-worth issues. He feels like Mr. Peg has done him an absolutely massive and like inappropriate for a person of his station favor by allowing him to marry his son. He very, very major in a huge way wants to impress Mr. Peg. So he's like, we will go on a honeymoon, but I want to do this thing for your father first.
Okay, two things about that.
Yeah.
First, Feminist Kim is also coming out on this episode. And this is theme number 2 of this episode, which is the fragile masculinity. And lots of the men in this episode, or I should say, it's focused on their insecurities and how miscommunications and like their own lack of trust with being vulnerable with their insecurities is causing so many problems. Yeah. But also, Sun mentions his dad.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we forgot about that. She's just like, oh man, I wish your dad could have been here to see this.
Dad's totally dead. Yep. Jin, your poker face is showing, my guy.
Yeah.
Yep. She kind of like says, okay, like she kind of puts up with it. I don't know. Like,
It's like, I love you, but like I'm not thrilled with this, but I hear you and you're understood. I'm not happy about it, but I understand.
right.
Yeah.
There's an interesting thing that we can just mention right now. This episode, the flashbacks in this episode take place at the same time as the flashbacks from the episode House of the Rising Sun, which we have not watched yet. So there is a Sun side of this same story, which we haven't watched yet. And I think it's interesting that we were watching Jin's side first, because chronologically
interesting.
the audience would have seen Sun's side first.
Oh.
And so I think that's interesting. After I found that out, I was like, oh man, I really, really want to watch that right now.
Well, that's too damn bad.
Exactly. But yeah, so like, so it's interesting because Mr. Peg's a powerful man.
Clearly.
He's got a lot going on. He holds a sway not only over Jin, but like his sway in industry, whatever, which makes Sun out to, only by seeing Jin's side of this story, as just kind of like a Korean mezzo-soprano type of thing. Like she's the rich daughter of, she's like a dilettante, or like
But like even Tony Soprano's family in some way, shape, or form knew that he was like a capital B bad man. Apparently Sun has no idea what her dad does.
yeah, and that's the big difference, is like, yeah, Sun isn't
feel
aware
like
apparently.
She has to have suspicions.
She's got to think, right?
You have to.
But I don't know. Maybe she's insulated enough.
Yeah.
But
Maybe.
anyway,
But actions speak louder than words, Jin. He's giving her all these empty promises, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, who is he? Me?
Anyway, we're on the beach now, right?
yeah,
Whatever.
back to the beach. Sun goes to speak with Michael. She apologizes to him for hitting him. Love will make you do crazy things, in the words of Will Smith.
But also, what a great idea to go be alone
With the guy.
with the man that your husband just accused you of having an affair with.
She tells Michael that she was protecting him from Jin by smacking.
You don't know what he can do.
And he there admits, he's like, you know what? I stuck my nose in where it didn't belong. And he's not wrong.
Yeah. It's not my problem. It's yours.
Yep.
Oh, but he's like so angry about it.
Yeah.
And I think I have
Oh,
a different
yeah.
perspective about it. So I have written down here, I was like, oh, Michael, you're so quick to help until your ego gets bruised. And now you're like, oh, I'm not good enough to help. You know what I mean? I was just like, oh my God, that's so annoying.
There's a lot of that with the men on this island, though.
Yeah.
You know,
It's his tone of his, it's your, it's all like
Whatever, I didn't like you anyway.
right?
I'm not going to help.
yeah, it's almost like he was expecting her to come up and be like, thank you for stepping in. I'm sorry I slapped you. Like, and he didn't get that. And he's like, whatever. I tried to help.
Yeah.
Right, like somebody's offering up an apology, like, and now you're gonna act all sour because you got your pee slapped. Like, shut up.
Yeah.
Cut to the golf course. Jin hitting those rocks. Yeah, even that made me groan even a little bit because like I'm not a huge fan of golf. I appreciate it's just like anything else. Like just because I'm not a fan of it doesn't mean it's not cool. And
Right. Yeah.
So yeah, but like even me as not a fan of golf, I was like, don't hit rocks with a golf club. That's a bad idea. Early. Try sea urchin. Get more ping.
It's like talking to a kid who like bites another kid. You're like, oh, do you need to bite something? I can give you something appropriate to bite. Is this the urge that you have? And you have to like, Jin, do you just need to hit something? We can go somewhere appropriate and find something else for you to hit, which is exactly what Hurley does. He's like, man,
I
try
just got
urchins.
a bucket of sea urchins.
Yeah, Hurley comes up and is, clearly there's still the language barrier, but I mean, you could watch this scene on mute and ostensibly still be in Jin's situation, and you could absolutely understand what Hurley's getting at. Like, yeah.
Which is my favorite part of Hurley and how he always talks to Jin as if he can understand him, and is never like, hey, do you want to go? Like, that's not going to make him understand English any better. But
Hurley, the emotional barometer and ad hoc morale officer of the island.
Yes.
Love to see him. Yeah, the officer's taking fishing. From there, we cut to the beach. I just have Shannon and Saeed are flirting. That's my note here.
Yeah.
it's my note is everyone knows the bowline sucks and you got to use a figure eight. Who's tying bowlines? Is that strictly a boat thing?
Bop, ba-da, bop, bop, ba-da, ba-da, bop, ba-da, bop, bop, ba-da, ba-da. Canonical Knots. Welcome back to Canonical Knots, a podcast within a podcast where we talk about the knots of Lost. Hey, I'm your host, JP Russell, joined as always by Adam Busher and usually somebody else. We're talking today about the bowline knot. According to Knots 101, it's one of the most useful knots in the world. Now, let's not get, ahead of ourselves here a little bit. We all know that here on Lost are big fans of the Dolly Brimley twist. Now, I have a quick game for Adam and Kim. I'm going to give you the names of 3 knots. 2 of them are real. 1 is fake. Let's see who can take some points on the board. Right. One of these is fake. 2 are real. We have the Rolling Magnus, the Mallard Bill, and the San Diego Jam. Kim, you're our guest, so you want to guess which one of those 3 is not a real knot.
I don't want to guess.
The Mallard Bill or the San Diego Jam.
I'm going to go Mallard Bill.
Okay, Adam, do you have a guess?
My gut's telling me to go with San Diego Jam.
Kim is correct. Kim is this week's winner of Canonical Knots here on Lost on Lost.
I'm
there
just
is
glad
no
to
prize.
be here. Can I say hi to my mom?
I don't know.
So anyway, Shannon's tying a fucking knot.
Quick, just before we leave Canonical Knots, I didn't realize that the theme song was the girl from Ipanema.
Listen.
Which makes it so much better.
Also, she's not tying a bowline knot.
She's not.
No, she's not.
She's like clove hitching it. She's not even. I still stand by the figure eight is more versatile. And or if you want to create like a hitch line in the middle, use an alpine butterfly. Like
San Diego Jam's a knot.
It is. I put that one in there specifically because it sounds like a sex move, fake. And I figured you'd guess that.
God.
I'm sure it is that as well, though. I'm pretty sure Urban Dictionary has.
Oh, I'm sure it is. Yep, I know all the sex moves.
Oh, and then of course, speaking of sex moves, then there's like, sexy bondage reference for later.
Oh God, yeah. Whoa, Shannon. Whoa. Flag on the
off.
plate. You can't throw out the bondage stuff in the flirt, like first date.
Yes,
tie
fuck
me
you
up.
can.
Hey, come on, bro, man.
I mean,
I guess you can. I don't know. That would
Yeah.
scare. That would, if it were me, if I'm Saeed, that would frighten me a little bit more than the later shit about her, her issues with commitment and stuff like that. I'd be like, I don't know if I want to tie her up.
right? But like the look on Saeed's face after she says it,
Yeah.
he's like, I have the weirdest boner right
Right,
now.
because
Like,
I think
he
the
doesn't know
same
what to
thing
do
would
with
happen
it.
to me. It was like, I don't know if I want to do that, but it is hot.
And how much do we know of Saeed's past at this point?
Right, like he might get too
yeah.
into it,
Because like
tie her up, but then start like
I know, yeah.
ties her up, and then just starts. And where were you on
Yeah.
April 4th? Like, he's like, oh, sorry,
Yeah.
my
Hey,
training
girl,
kicked
what
in.
them feet do? Answer me.
Ew. Then where do we go after that? We're with Michael.
Yeah.
Walt's got
we're with
some
Michael
fucking
and
wire.
Walt. Michael and Walt.
Yeah, we go from some super horny shit to just some wholesome dad and son shit over the
Yeah.
raft.
You're gonna love New York, son. The Flatiron building is fucking boring as hell.
I saw a building that looks like a shoebox, and that inspired me to draw shoeboxes. Jack comes to talk to Walt and Michael about the raft passengers.
Yeah. Jack's like, no, looks pretty cool. Like, dude, you're so far removed from this massive effort
Right?
to try and get people off the island.
He's like, hey, that looks pretty neat.
Oh, what do you got going on here? A little bit of a raft?
Who's gonna be riding that? You get some room for one more? But like what? And Michael's
Yeah.
just like, whoever helped. Like, what do you do? This is the first time you're coming over here.
Yeah, that was my question. Do you guys think Jack was asking because he was asking if he could come, or was he just curious?
Maybe he wanted to put Claire on there just to get her away.
Yeah.
He's like, I'm the only doctor. I don't want to go down there.
Well, because that's what I was thinking. I feel like Jack was probably not asking because he wanted to go along. I feel like Jack, at this point, probably wants to stay with whoever's staying behind to keep an eye
Sure.
on.
Yeah, totally. But yeah, Sawyer comes up comically out of nowhere, as he's known to do from time to time.
Always says that.
And he's just kind of like, hey, I bought my way onto this thing because Michael needed supplies that I had to finish his boat. And so I'm going. And Jack seems a little off-put by this. Like, oh, you bought your way on? And I'm like, dude, you should be fucking thanking Michael for getting him out of here.
Right?
Like,
Yeah, because as soon as he leaves, you can rifle through all this shit and reappropriate Sawyer's
Yep.
stash for the common good.
exactly.
And steal his girlfriend.
That too.
Reappropriate his girlfriend for the common good.
Ha.
Ugh.
Whoa.
Speaking of his girlfriend,
Yeah, speaking of, Kate and Son are having a evening discussion, and Kate is trying to impose Western values on Son and is saying, why don't you tell him that you speak English?
It sounds like, why don't you tell anybody anything? Slam.
Yeah, why don't you tell everyone that you're a fugitive, bitch?
how about you like ask for, Kate is so like shaming in this scene. I was so, of course I always hate Kate, but like, barf. I was like, Kate, could you like make her feel worse about all of this, please? That would be great.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh shit, the raft's on fire.
That's exactly, I wrote, oh great, the fucking raft is on fire.
They're flinging sand at it like there's no way.
The
ocean's
way
right
they are
there.
flinging sand. That's what I literally have written down, pull it into the water or push it, like what?
Go get a bucket.
Or get bigger, like put more sand on it. Like as a firefighter, sand will work. Yes, sure. However, they're not even like scooping both hands together and getting as much sand as they can. They're like open hand, open hand clawing at the sand. I'm like, what are you even
I'm going to
doing?
be on the survivor's side here for a moment. I feel like the fire's probably too hot for them to get close enough to get adequate sand. Like it's too late. They didn't see the raft until it was fully engulfed. So now it's just there's too much fire. There's no way they're gonna get enough sand on it to actually put it out. So they're trying, but like it's fruitless already when we get there. And they're never gonna be able to push it in the water because they couldn't push it in the water when it wasn't on fire.
Oh, that's fair.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
yeah,
They have some issues with that. In Exodus Part Fun, I think it is, right?
That's correct. Exodus Part Fun. When they try to launch the raft, they fucking blow it.
Yeah.
So did they know they were making a submarine and not a raft?
Michael is convinced that Jin is the one who started the fire based on the earlier,
that they had an
Which,
altercation.
totally logical thing to think. Like, your wife slapped me. You set my raft on fire. What?
Yeah, well,
Michael is so irrational.
Yeah.
Jack is the voice of reason coming in saying, well, we don't know he did this. And Michael says, who did? And I wrote, I don't know, Michael, the others who want to capture you, the crazy French woman who lives in the forest, a goddamn smoke monster.
Literally anyone else.
Yeah.
Could have been anything. This island is madness. Michael shouts at son. Sawyer and Charlie agree with Michael.
Yeah.
Charlie, for whatever reason, is like, yeah, Jin did it. What are you doing here?
What does Charlie care?
He's just all about bandwagons.
Go tend to your pregnant wife.
Pregnant girlfriend. Pregnant friend. Pregnant neighbor. Man. Like,
There's twice in this episode where Jack just points at someone and says, shut up. I don't think it was this scene, but I feel like Charlie in this scene needed a Jack pointing at him going, shut up.
Yeah.
From there, we cut directly to the caves. Jin is raiding the medicine chest. His hands are injured.
I have written down earlier, I was like, why would it be Jin? And then we cut to the scene and I have written down, it was Jin.
Uh-oh.
Ooh, it certainly does look like it. His hands are all burned. He's trying to find burn cream. Sun comes in there and she sides with Michael. She's like, why'd you burn the raft? And to be fair, it does look like he might have did it because he's got burns all over his hands.
But he doesn't deny it.
That's true.
Mm-hmm.
Again, he doesn't speak his truth or whatever. You know what I mean?
Yep. He just he takes the accusation. He takes an insult to the accusation and leaves without.
I don't even think she accused first, though. She asked first, didn't she? Right?
She asked, like, did you do it or something? And she says something to the effect of, like, well, why would you do that? Michael is trying to get us off the island, and he just screams, Michael. Like,
he's all butthurt. Oh my god.
Jin storms off, and then we cut into a flashback.
As usual.
Mm-hmm.
Jin rushes into Mr. Pake's office to apologize for some sort of accident. We don't see what happened, whatever. That's not important. But Pake tells me, he's like, I didn't call you here to life you out about this accident. I'm giving you a promotion to special assistant.
Yeah. And he's a little caught off guard by that. He's like, wait, what?
yeah. He's like, wait, what? I thought I fucked up, but now I'm getting a promotion. Does it come with a raise?
That's how corporate America works.
Yeah.
Fail upward.
But yeah, so Mr. Peg's like, and now that you're my special assistant, here's your first job. I need you to go to this dude's house and deliver a message. I am very disappointed.
Well, okay, so he says, I need you to go to, and I might be mispronouncing his name, Boing Han's house. And Jin says, the Secretary for Environmental Safety. That would be like me saying, hey, Adam, I need you to go to Michael S. Reagan's house. And you being like, oh, you mean the EPA administrator? And I'd be like, yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty wild. A corporate captain of industry here being like, hey, go to the government's house and tell them I'm sad. Like, that sounds like something that would happen in America.
It really does.
So Jim's like, yeah, I can do that. That's no problem. He takes the little envelope, heads over there. Goes to Secretary Han's house. Man,
this is a nice fucking house. Holy shit.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, when once Jin said, hey, I'm here, Mr. Peg sent me to deliver a message, Han is very, very scared.
Yeah.
Like terrified.
And Jin, I don't think it registers for Jin that this dude is scared. He's confused as to why he's scared. He's like, anyway, he just wanted me to tell you that he's disappointed in you.
Yeah. And then the guy's tune really changes because he's like, oh, you're just here literally to deliver that message. Thank you. I'm
so glad you're not going to
Thanks for telling me
in front
I
of my
suck.
daughter.
Yeah.
Secretary Han is so happy to not get hammered by Jin that he gives his daughter's dog to Jin as a thank you.
Just hands him right over.
I would never speak to my father again.
Right?
If he just gave some stranger my dog.
But yeah, so like he gives him the dog, and that's that. We cut to the beach. Local hero Boone Carlisle tending to the fire.
I almost hate him as much as Kate.
Local Coles mannequin Boone Carlisle.
He didn't even have to do anything, and I was like, I hate looking at you.
Could you? Who invited this guy?
Oh my god, he's such a fucking Chaz.
Saeed comes over. He's like, hey, I might be having sex with your sister soon.
It's so good. It's so good.
Just FYI.
You mind if I put your sister to the sheets? Cool. See ya.
Cool. Oh, do you do mind? I don't care. I'm doing it anyway.
Yeah.
That's what he says.
He's like,
I didn't come here.
I wasn't asking.
Yeah.
I just came.
This
I just
I
thought
wasn't
you
asking
should
for
know.
permission. I was extending a courtesy because he gets all fucking butthurt about it. He's like,
Yeah.
Right?
And then Saeed's like, whatever, fuck you. I'm finna beat these guts.
right. And again, it's a tone thing. It's like the Michael thing I shouldn't have put my nose in where it wouldn't belong. It's about tone. Like,
Right.
Boone could have been like, he could have given earnest advice or warning or whatever about, like, he's like, I do know, like, this is a thing that Shannon is, but because his tone is so snotty and lame,
Right?
it's like,
He sounds jealous that Saeed wants to sleep with his sister. I actually have written here, I'm like, calm down, Jamie Lannister. Like, what is your deal?
Well, and you got to recognize it's like, you know, granted, Saeed could literally beat Boone into like a small thing of pomade, but like
Snap him like a twig.
Right, exactly. But it's like, you know, still respect the fact that he came to you man to man to be like, hey, like I'm kind of starting something with your sister. Like I want to make sure you're not like going to be blindsided by this.
Yeah,
yeah, exactly.
Like, I'm not trying to hurt her. So, like, if you see us doing it later, like, know that it was probably consensual.
If you see me and her later and she's tied up, I'm not doing anything weird.
She told me she wanted
we
that.
are doing things weird, but it's fine.
I have this NDA and a letter of consent. But Boone offers some shitty thing like, well, you know, she's just going to use you and
She likes older
get what
men.
she wants. And she likes guys that will take care of her. So when that happens to you, don't take it personally.
Right. It's all real dumb and lame.
Yeah. But apparently it does get to Saeed because, you know.
Later on,
Later.
Like, I feel like it got to him there, too. Like, you can see on his face, he's like, oh, okay, I guess maybe not.
Well, I mean, Saeed is arguably the smartest person on the island, I would say, in terms of, like, technical skills.
Right.
So,
what did Jacobson say? It's the soft skills he's missing.
Yeah.
People
Speaking
soft.
of soft skills, Jin's sleeping.
Just out by himself,
I don't know what
ran
that
away.
means.
You know, he's isolated. He's by a creek. He
Dude.
trying to figure out what he's gonna do. I think, you know, like.
And for the second time in this episode, Sawyer comes from out of nowhere and delivers an Austin Powers kick to fucking Jin's head.
But yeah, like, I mean, Sawyer's got to get the drop on him because Sawyer might not know this, but if it was a fair fight, Jin would mop the creek bed with him.
Yeah.
So fast. My money on Jin every time.
Which that says something because Sawyer does know how to fight, and the fact that like Jin and Sawyer both just get fucking dominated by Mr. Echo.
We cut back to the beach. Shannon is working on a tent.
She's doing something, man.
Yeah, trying to build.
Glad to see Shannon doing some shit.
Also, still not tying a bowl in.
No,
but she's putting up kind of like a tarp or something that kind of looks like a shower curtain or something like that.
Windbreak, some sort of something, whatever. Saeed comes over to help out a little bit, but then when she asks him to assist, he recalls Boone's earlier warning, and he's like, maybe he says this in the most awkward way. Maybe you should find another friend to help you with this.
Right.
Thing. Which immediately makes her think, oh, you talked to Boone, didn't you? Fucking.
Yeah, and she storms off. We've seen Saeed know exactly when people are lying. He's really bad at like the interpersonal relationship stuff, especially when it comes to Shannon.
Yeah.
It's not his strong suit. And I do like that as a flaw of his character. It's good. But yeah, he's a little love blind. He doesn't know what to think or feel.
Yeah, he has a blind spot for her because he already is crushing on her so hard. So all of his normal internal sensors are off when it comes to her.
As if he has them socially anyway. But yeah, I actually have written down, I can't even remember. I have written down ask, don't assume, which is one of the 4 like main cruxes of any relationship.
There you go.
Ask, don't assume.
Shannon heads off to find Boone. While she's looking for Boone, she knows that Boone and Locke have been palling around, so she finds Locke. He's gutting a boar, eating it raw, I guess.
Well, no, I thought he was gutting like a bird.
Oh, was it a bird? Whatever. I didn't see what he was gutting, but she's like, ew, gross. And he's like, breakfast.
Yeah, right.
I don't know if we have ever had a Locke and Shannon scene before. I really enjoyed this.
It wasn't bad. A lot of times, John Locke's advice
is amazing. Yeah, move on. Next point.
Bordering on condescension. since he's been on
Right.
the island. Now he's king of the island, and so everything I don't know. So, but like even with this like almost condescending advice to her, because he gives it to her with like this like sort of like subtext of this is obvious. This is obvious. You should have thought of this already. Make your own.
It is
Make your own.
obvious, though. In this case, it definitely is obvious.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
You're right. It is obvious.
I do like, she's like, tell him this and another thing. And John's just like, should I be taking notes?
Yeah, that was so good.
But here in this scene, we tie in, and we've talked about this in other episodes, but we sort of tie in the A plot and the B plot a little bit, or the A plot and one of the subplots, because John's like, if you like Saeed, go like Saeed. Boone's just trying to get your attention. Yeah. Everyone gets a new life on this island. Start yours, and that is directly juxtaposed against Sun and Jin, and Sun wanting to start over. With Jin. Yeah. So I thought that was a great little scene. I loved it.
Also, I want to reference that. I know you guys are like jungle friends or whatever. And all I was like,
jungle pals.
We play squash. Yeah. I was like, yeah.
Well, that leads me to my last note for this scene was like, I like here that despite the fact that Boone and JL have been palling around and doing all of their jungle friends stuff, Locke doesn't take Boone's side here because Locke knows Boone's in the wrong.
Yeah.
And so that I like that. It's the call out,
Yeah.
He just says, this boy has a strong back. I need his strong back.
Right. Even though they're working together, John Locke's not going to let that prevent him from saying he's fucking up, So
Right.
I dig it.
It's that dad energy, baby.
Yeah, I like it.
Cut back to
I did not like this scene.
Yeah, same.
Sawyer and Jin heading back to the beach.
Yeah.
The one thing that I liked about it was the camera work.
Yeah, camera work is good.
There was an interesting extreme close on Sawyer while he's talking.
Of his mouth, yeah.
Yeah, on just his mouth. These people were all accountants and lawyers and something a month ago. And now it's Lord of the Flies time. And that was like really, like, I thought that was a really cool shot.
Yeah, that was
but
creepy.
he's got him tied up very like prisoner of war style.
Yeah.
And he's, like, oh, something about like, are you afraid? Do you know that word or something like that? Or what afraid is or something like that. And I'm just like, this is really, this feels borderline racist. Like,
for sure.
Yeah, it was super uncomfortable.
Yeah.
That's a really good way to describe it, Kim. Like it was well done in the fact that I was very uncomfortable by it. And I just didn't appreciate how Sawyer was acting. I don't mean it was a bad scene.
It felt like it was an excuse. Like the whole raft situation was an excuse. Like he's just been waiting to unleash his racism on Jin. Like that's what it felt like.
Right.
Ugh.
Yeah. And the vibe I get by the end of it is like, does Sawyer think that we're going to take Jin back to the beach and kill him?
Yeah.
And if so, is he really excited about that?
Yeah.
Jeepers.
Yeah, like he's real excited to kill. Yep.
It's a very weird shift because we're trying to see Sawyer grow, and this was like 10 steps back.
Yeah, this is, So, reminded in the early days of where Sawyer started from.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Cut to the flashback.
Yay.
Sun surprises Jin with a lovely dinner.
Oh, with a
It did
fucking
look real good.
spread. Holy
Yeah,
shit.
that was a
Even
feast.
for fake TV food, it looked good.
Yeah. Yep.
He's excited. It seems like, it's like he's been working a lot, so this is going to be a nice opportunity for them to, hang out, him being busy. His phone rings, he shuts it off.
Which, by the way, is like one of the sexiest things that a man could ever do. No cell phones at the table. Oh my God, that's so hot. Especially in this day and age. Are you kidding me?
And the nice thing about this day and age is that if you turned off your cell phone, the landline wouldn't ring 30 seconds later.
Yeah. And like there's something so intimate for me anyway, I don't know about you guys, about sharing a meal with someone, especially when it's just the two of you. Like I bond around food, fat girl. But like, especially something that she made herself. Like it's so, it's beautiful. I like it.
And then for him to take the extra step in saying, you're my only focus tonight.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's sweet. But yeah, the landline rings after Jin shuts his phone off. So apparently, Mr. Pei cannot and will not be ignored.
They share a look, and it's kind of Jin saying he's going to keep calling, and Sun saying like, I know, but I'm upset.
Right. Take the phone off the hook if he's going to keep calling.
Yeah.
Then he'll just come to the house. Yeah, it's upsetting.
Yeah, but at least they could maybe like finish dinner by the time he gets there.
But yeah, you're right. I mean, like that. Yeah, JP, what you said is right. He's gonna keep calling. She's like, yeah, I know this sucks. Like,
Yeah.
So based on this phone call, Jin has to go meet Paik.
Yeah.
And Paik's like, you absolute moron. When I said deliver a message, I meant deliver a message. Like,
Which it's so funny because I'm like, to a normal person, deliver a message is just that, deliver a message.
Right.
Like if you wanted that other stuff, like toss in like a wink or a nudge at the end, like, hey, I got.
Don't assume that I know deliver a message means pound this guy.
Yeah, or like the other guy shows up and he's got like gloves and stuff. I'm like, give him a box of gloves or like an apron.
I want you to
know?
take him out. Did you take him out? Yeah, we went to Ruby Tuesdays and caught the matinee. It was great.
You ever have a bloomin' onion? Fuck, man. So
Oh,
good.
dude, I'd fucking kill a bloomin' onion right now.
So he's like, all right, so since you don't know how to deliver a message, here's my professional message deliverer.
He's like, why didn't you tell that guy to do it?
Have him do it. I'm the new special assistant. Use the other guy. He's not.
I thought this was like a work placement.
Yeah, training would have been nice. Jeez.
Jin drives the dude in the white suit to Secretary Han's house. While they're driving, he's screwing on a silencer. He's putting on gloves.
He's giving him the routine, like, I'll be out in 2 minutes, keep the car running. You're going to go to this river and you know, do this and yada, yada, yada.
When they get there, Jin jumps out of the car and goes into the house. And
Fast fucking thinking.
yeah.
Yeah.
And so now he pounds this guy, beats the shit out of him, tells him the factory's going to open. I just saved your life.
Well, he throws him like over the dinner table.
Yeah.
And
Into a indoor water feature.
yeah, and I was like, man's got a fucking pond in his house. That's pretty cool.
Yeah. You gotta. Yeah. And the little girl, right, is watching, and the look, as soon as Jin looks up, I mean, like, you know, part of him has already died, but as soon as he sees her face, you can see it in him too, where he just like, I mean, that's it. He will never be a person who hadn't done that.
Yeah.
Right.
You know what I
it's
mean?
the final transformation of becoming Mr. Paik's special assistant.
Yeah. But even though in this moment he's doing the right thing, he's also simultaneously doing the wrong thing.
Right. Mm-hmm. Right. Yeah, I can only imagine what's going through his head. Like, the right thing is such an awful thing. Like,
Yeah.
it's pretty fucked up. So yeah, so Secretary Han does not get shot by the dude. They leave. He got the message, you know.
That's the thing, though. It's not that it wasn't. I don't even think it's the right thing for him to have done. I think it was just like the least wrong thing.
Sure. Right.
Right.
Yeah.
It saved the guy's life. And so in that much, it's the right thing.
Well, and potentially his family's life too, because if he was sitting there having dinner and the hitman comes in, he's probably just going to take all three of them out, you know?
Yeah, that's true. Yeah,
That's fair.
No witnesses.
So Jin comes home. He's covered in blood. He goes immediately to the bathroom. He starts trying to clean himself up. Sounds like, what happened? Whose blood is that? You know, they have an argument about what Jin does for Mr. Paik. You know, it's the same stuff. I'm protecting you. Like she hits him. It's this whole thing. Throughout this scene, the camera's handheld, and again, this was some camera work that I liked. That I liked a lot because it's disorienting. It's it's off balance. So like it felt
you're
frantic.
as shaky as he is.
Yeah.
Can you hear my eyes roll? Because the line, I did it for us. I cannot even. Men listening, no woman wants, I did it for us. That never follows something that's actually good, ever. It's not like, oh, hey, baby, surprise, here's this like spa package. I did it for us. Like, no, it's always some dumb bullshit that they like.
I bought this bouncy castle for us.
I bought it for
us.
Exactly. I did it for us. Like that. Okay, absolutely. Sure. We can find some way to. Nope. Nobody wants that.
Yeah.
Kim, this episode of Lost on Lost, you know when you make something that tastes like cake, but it actually has a full serving of vegetables in it, you know, a lie. That's kind of like what this episode is. Like, people are here for the Lost and the yucks, but they're getting sound relationship advice, and this is good. I like this.
It's off-brand in the best way.
It's not the right
Love
thing.
it.
It's the least wrong thing.
It's the least wrong thing. Jin, instead of crying in front of the sink, though, like go Like, you're covered in blood, not just your hands. Go cry in the shower like the rest of us.
Right, yeah, like
come on.
In that moment after Sun leaves the bathroom, at least Jin has the self-awareness to hate himself.
Yeah.
We return to the beach. Jin and Sawyer return.
A lot happens here very quickly.
Yeah.
So Sawyer delivers him. Michael sees that Jin has been delivered and is angry. Some people are holding him back. An argument sort of ensues. Jack is telling people to shut up again, but for very good reason.
Yeah.
Also pointing. Yeah.
Yes. Pointing, yelling. Saeed even chimes in with this is between them. And I'm like, no,
we're not.
It's not.
No, it really isn't.
Like, nobody could say that at the beginning of the episode when Sun and Jin were fighting, but like now they're going to say it? Like, what?
Michael are Jin's hands tied during the fight?
Yeah, they were tied.
I don't believe so.
No, they were tied before.
Okay, so they cut him loose, but that's when Michael starts to beat on him.
Yes, he punches him.
Jin says something to him and continues to talk to him as Michael punches him, and he doesn't fight back.
Right.
Tell me you did some legwork and looked up what he was saying.
Good evening. I'm senior Lost on Lost correspondent Carter Wadle. We interrupt this program to bring you an editorial comment from Lost on Lost co-producer Adam Busher.
Thank you, Carter. The answer to Kim's question was no, we had not done the legwork. There are episode transcripts on Lostpedia, so we took Jin's lines from there and ran them through Google Translate. But because we didn't think of that beforehand, we did it while we recorded. This editorial comment replaces the 10 minutes that took. During those minutes, Kim made a great callback to I Did It For Us, and JP had an okay joke about golf clubs.
This has been an editorial comment from Lost on Lost co-producer Adam Busher. I'm senior Lost on Lost correspondent Carter Wadle. Now back to your regularly scheduled podcast, already in progress.
So the shouting is garbled. There's the shot where we see Jin's point of view and everybody's speech is reversed.
Yeah.
We have that. And Hurley's saying, chill out. Jin says something to Sun. You don't believe me either? Michael says, what did he say? Jin continues, not me. Jin says, you say something to me? So yeah, that's what, it looks like he starts off by saying, it wasn't me, I didn't burn the boat. Yeah, he repeats, not me. Say it again, man. He says, I didn't set the fire. Yeah, so it sounds like he's defending himself. He's saying, it wasn't me,
Yeah.
I didn't set the fire. One of the last things he says is, it was already on fire when I got there.
Oh, it's not the lyrics to We Didn't Start the Fire. He's actually talking about the fact that he, in fact, did not start the fire.
He says to Sun, you don't believe me either. It wasn't me. I didn't start the fire. It was already on fire when I got there. I burned my hand trying to put out the fire. Look at my hand.
Okay, hold on. So this is funny too, now that we know what he actually said. You don't believe me either. No. Nobody is disbelieving you. You never said you didn't do it.
You didn't offer that up.
Yeah. She asked.
You were upset at your wife for asking the question and wanting an honest answer. She didn't say one way or another, oh, like, I'm going to betray you, or I'm, if you did do it, she's just like, what, did you do it? What's happening? If you did, why did you do it?
And he got so spun out by her taking Michael's side prior to him answering that his anger about that prevented him from even explaining himself, which he could have done a while ago, but now he's trying to do while he's being beaten up. But ostensibly, Sun can't hear him, and so this is the first time she's hearing the explanation. Then that's why she jumps in, finally revealing to everybody that she speaks English by saying, "Stop it, leave him alone. He didn't do it." Because she's also now, for the first time, hearing his defense, his explanation.
And it is literally the only way that this whole thing stops. Yeah. She has no other choice but to speak English.
Yeah, because they would have just kept beating on him.
Yeah.
They probably would have beat him unconscious and, maybe killed him.
Yeah.
I don't know.
So, and somebody offers up some shitty line about, like, she says something to the effect of, like, he's not lying or not lying. Somebody says something about lying, and then I think it's Sawyer says
Michael's
something about, like,
he's just covering for her,
Well, yeah, but then somebody offers up, oh, yeah, you're going to lecture us about lying when you've been speaking English this whole time.
Right.
It's interesting because, you know, like most of our characters, not all, there's a lot of our characters that have very particular skills, and they're using those skills to survive. Sun's subterfuge in her, you know, ability to speak English, especially in the beginning days of surviving on the island, is a survival technique. And, you know, once she reveals, like, yeah, I can speak English, it's like everybody's all butthurt about it. And it's like, no, she fooled all of you into just being like, oh, I don't speak English, we can just say whatever the fuck we want around them. And she got you. And they're all a little bit sour about it.
Yeah. But also, like, can we, like, obviously you saw what happened with the swimsuit. So you know there was a reason for her to not share this, right? So don't, like, jump down her throat.
Well, because they even see the Jinn is pretty shocked, too. He didn't know that she spoke English.
Yeah.
The one that comes in and finally diffuses this whole thing.
It's your buddy John.
My sweet baby boy.
John Locke.
Why would he burn the raft?
He's been after me since day one. Everybody knows it.
Okay, it's personal. But why take it out on our best chance of getting off the island? Why would any one of us block an attempt to get home? We're so intent on pointing the finger at one another that we're ignoring the simple, undeniable truth that the problem isn't here, it's there. They've attacked us, sabotaged us, abducted us, murdered us. Maybe it's time we stopped blaming us and started worrying about them. We're not the only people on this island, and we all know it.
Up until this point in this episode, it was like watching the teacher like ask a question, and the one kid who always answers is raising their hand, and she's like, anybody? Like, anybody else? And then finally the kid raising their hand is just like, it's 5. The answer is 5.
Yeah, my favorite part about it was when he finishes his little like, hey, it should have been obvious to y'all. He just kind of like waved, like he gives him that dismissive wave and walks off. He's like, I can't even with you people. Like,
it's like he's still in the jungle. He's still just yelling. He's just walking away. And another thing.
Just mumbling to himself.
Yeah, and that was my favorite. His exit was my favorite. Like, just like so good too. Just like, get your heads out of your asses.
Such an old man move.
Kids at your music.
Yeah.
Everybody leaves Sun on the beach, even Jin.
Yeah.
Sun's the bad guy.
Oh,
Get
man.
the fuck out of here.
I was like bawling so hard at this point. I was just like, I can't. Oh, she's so alone.
So mad.
But even Kate, who knows she speaks English, left her alone.
Not
like,
surprising.
That's a shit move.
Victim blaming.
Yes.
Michael goes to the wreckage. He's trying to see if there's anything worth salvaging. There isn't. He's really frustrated. Walt comes up, you know, he snaps at him a little bit. This is a little bit of Michael growth. He's like, oh, I'm frustrated. I shouldn't take this out on Walt. And so he changes tack, changes tone. And I liked his little thing here because it was actually, you know, it was kind of a nice thing. And it was, you know, again, tying sort of the various threads of this episode together. You know, we all have setbacks. That's life. It's, you know, how we move on from the setbacks that makes us people, whatever. So it's a good thing to say to your kid. Like that.
Yeah. Here's the problem that I have with, though. He apologizes for being short with him when he initially comes up. He does not apologize for his behavior a few minutes ago on the beach for assaulting a man and basically wanting to string him up and kill him without any proof of crime.
Right,
he does not apologize for that behavior at all.
And not taking like any responsibility for his part in this. Like, okay, if you really thought the raft was that big of an asset and somebody might light it on fire, God forbid, how come you're not like sleeping on the raft?
Again, like what John Locke said too, like, we're not alone here. They should have been, you're right, they should have been guarding the raft. Like, from the jump. Later on, we find out they do post guards on it after it's been set on fire once. You should have been doing that in the beginning.
Right. Also, he's like, I can't salvage any of this, you know, except for those big pieces of metal that look like they're fine.
Yeah, right.
Bamboo fire can't melt plane beams.
This was another one of those moments, though, where he basically said to Walt, like, I did this for you. I did it for you. Like, and I was just like, no, come on, man. Why are we always assuming? Like,
assuming what people want and then doing it for them.
Yes.
Do you even want to leave this island? No, not really. Oh, okay. Somebody else can build a raft. We'll stay here.
Yeah.
I mean, we assume that people want to watch Lost out of order, but we're right. So, you know.
Right.
Yeah. Duh.
I was like, the scene wraps up with just like, so Walt's like, oh, you're going to build another one? He's like, yeah. And he offers to help. He's like, well,
Oh, we can just build a new one? Then why are we so mad about it?
exactly. You got nothing but time.
Yeah, we have nothing but fucking time.
Yeah, you could literally start over. It could take 2 more years. Like, it does not matter.
We cut to the cave.
Oh my God.
This scene, I'm like weeping in this scene.
Jin's packing his things. He's moving out. Son and Jin have been living at the caves, but he's grabbing his nets, grabbing his shirts. He's leaving. Son comes in to try to reconcile with him. You know, she's distraught, obviously. He's distraught. It's really...
And she's trying to offer up all this stuff, and he just won't speak to her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why won't you speak to me? Why won't you speak to me? Please talk to me. Please talk to me.
And then in a gut-wrenching moment, oh my God, so she speaks to him in English, and he doesn't understand, but she says, I was going to leave you. I was going to get away, but you made me change my mind that you still loved me.
Yeah.
Ugh.
But yeah, she says that in English, and he can't so she finally confesses, but he can't. He literally can't hear the confession.
He can feel it, though.
Right.
Yeah.
I think, yeah. You asked that earlier why, like, where her English learning came from. It's attached to her plan to leave Jin. She learned English so that she could leave Jin.
Right.
Oh, he's taking watches to Sydney and Los Angeles.
Yeah. So
Interesting.
But yeah, no, that fucking, and then so yeah, from that big reveal, I was gonna leave you. We cut into a flashback.
Right? All of the feels in these, like, this whole sequence.
Beautiful little fishing village. You got to assume that this is where Jin grew up, because we know he is from a fishing village. All that. See him pull up in his big car. There's a guy out at the end of the dock. Goes out there, and it's his dad. His dad's not dead, and Jin apologizes and says that he was ashamed of his dad.
Like, okay, can we pause right there real quick? The very first thing he says to his dad is, I'm sorry, I was ashamed of you. Dude, you can say that to your dad.
Yeah.
But, like, all of this other stuff you can't say?
It's different, though. I feel like it's a little different.
Because the thing is, I think in your heart of hearts, if you're ever in a position like that with your father or a family member or something like that, you gotta hope that what happens. His dad embraces him. It's like, it's okay.
Yeah.
And you can't guarantee that with
he knows his dad's gonna love him unconditionally. Son might leave him.
You don't know that.
Yeah. You gotta. But I think it's easier to hope that with a family member than I don't know. Like it's.
Don't you look for that in a partner too? Kind of. I don't know.
Not everybody gets it right.
Yeah, and I think it's easier to make that assumption with a family member than a significant other. It's easier to assume unconditional love with a family member than you're never sure, but it's easier to hope that with.
I would agree.
Sure.
So I don't know.
Yeah.
But yeah.
The difference of perspective here is staggering, though, between his father and himself.
Oh, totally.
His dad hugs him. Like, Jin, I mean, like, this to have said that more than once to not only Mr. Pig, but then to his wife, my father's dead. He would rather say that than say, my dad's a fisherman.
Yeah.
Like, that's just another thing that's been killing Jin. Now, in addition to now his new job, like, his soul and whatever is dying on inside. Some of it's his own fault,
right?
You know, and he's got to deal with that. But fuck, man, like the stuff that he's been carrying. I mean, but they go fishing together.
Ugh, what
rolls
a
up
good
his
scene.
sleeves,
like
takes off his jacket, put the gloves on. He explains to him, you know, it's like, yeah, my wife, she's beautiful, she's smart, I love her, all that stuff. You know.
He explains that their relationship is troubled, that they don't talk anymore, and that he's like, I can't tell her about her father.
Yeah.
Again, Kim, very much like, you know, you've been saying, like, not having this open communication, thinking that keeping her in the dark is somehow protecting her.
Oh, I hate that.
Yeah.
It's like, you don't get to decide what is good for me, what I need to know, what I want. Yeah, I don't know that.
Yeah.
Ugh.
It's another thing. Ask, don't assume. Like Jin assumes that if he tells Son your father's some sort of gangster or gangster adjacent, he's this threatening, powerful, physically violent individual, whatever, that she would hate Jin for telling her that. or that hearing that about her father would destroy her.
Right.
Maybe Sun would think that her dad's a shitty guy. Like Jin says, like in a good world, she would hate him and not me.
She already does, though. She says in the bathroom, like, what is he making you do?
Yeah, right. Like, I'm in this with you. We can both get away from this, basically.
Yeah.
Like,
And that's what Jin's dad says. It's like, it is a good world. He makes the opposite assumption. If you told her, she'd be on your side, not his.
right.
Absolutely.
So like we're all crying, and then we cut back to the caves.
Yeah, where I cry harder.
where we cry some more because can't we just start over?
Oh God.
It's too late.
I'm gonna cry. It's too late. It's too late. But it's not even that line that got me the hardest. It was this. She starts crying as he's walking away and he stops. Listen, if her crying bothers you that much, it is not too late. Oh my God. But why? Just say something. Oh my God.
Well, and he wants to, you can see it in his face. Like, he wants to just drop his shit and like embrace her. He absolutely does. But
So
there's some fucking ego thing that he just can't let go of. And he's just like, no, I'm in too deep with this being an asshole thing.
Okay. I don't think it's ego.
I think it's insecurity.
The chronological audience doesn't know this. We on Lost know this. Exodus Part Fun, Jin tells her that them being on the island is punishment for him.
Oh.
I think he thinks somewhere in his head or his heart he's got to eat this because of this is now penance for being Pake's enforcer, for not talking to his wife, for not listening, for making all these bad. I think in his head that's why he thinks it's too late, because now it's time for him to. I don't know.
No, but again, that's an insecurity, man.
Do you think the writers think that far in advance?
I don't. Then maybe they came to this thought later, and that's why they wrote that line in Exodus Part Fun.
Yeah,
They're like,
that's good.
here's a
Adam.
good explanation.
I like that. That's very good.
So I don't know. Jin's a complex guy. He's carrying a lot of shit around.
You've been listening to the podcast.
But yeah, it's too late. Goddamn. Yeah, you're right, Kim. It's not too late. I don't think it's too late.
I get that there are a lot of complex. I get it. I get that there are a lot of complex emotions and whatever. And I'm gonna say it. People are gonna hate me for this. It is so male centric on like these dumb decisions. Like Sun was so vulnerable. She shared all of that. I mean, I get that she lied initially with the English thing, blah blah blah. But eventually it came out, and you have this opportunity to turn toward her and you fucking turn away.
Yeah, you're right, Kim. We do hate you for saying that. Now on to this week's sponsor, Flavor Blasted Goldfish.
Yeah, I mean, you're right. Like and JP, what you said earlier about it being ego. I mean, that's part of it. That's certainly part of it.
Yeah.
There's still some, not only is Jin carrying around all this other karmic shit, but he's also still a man. Yeah. And he's carrying around that the toxic part of being a man. Like,
the best part.
Which is so sad, because I feel like there's so much of me that wants to say that has changed, but honestly, it really hasn't all that much.
No.
Except now we hear women like calling people out more, but it still hasn't like really done much.
Yeah.
I mean, y'all are pretty good because we have conversations.
The work's in progress, and it just sucks that we started from such a shitty place and we've got so far to go, because it's gonna take time. Cut to the beach that evening.
Ooh.
Yeah, Saeed's just hanging out, watching a fire. Shannon comes up, says something. My notes here aren't very good. Yeah,
my notes here. I just have about time, and that's all I wrote about this scene. That's it.
Oh yeah. She says, "Hey, we all get a new life here. I want to start mine."
Yeah.
And then
very much says exactly what John said, but it means that she's like, you know what? Fucking bald jungle pal is right.
Jump friends. Then we come back to the cave. Walt's setting up some backgammon. Lot comes in. Hey, you got a partner? Well, Hurley owes me $83,000.
$83,000.
I was going to give him a chance to win it back.
Oh my God, that's such a good bit.
The best part is he has that.
Yeah, he's good for it.
Money.
I told you I'm good for it. John Locke sits down to play backgammon with him, and they start playing. Oh man, so like they get into the meat of the scene, but like Walt rolls like a thing, and John's like, "Good for you." Like he's already pissed. Yeah. But then he says, "So why'd you burn the raft down?" And Walt's like, "Excuse me."
And then he's like, "Don't worry, I'm not a cop."
Yeah, I'm not gonna snitch on you. Jail's cool as fuck. But like, why, man? What'd you do? Like, Wallace says, like, I've been moving my entire life. I'm 10 years old. I've lived in New York and then Italy and then Australia and now this place. And like, I'm sick of moving. Like, I don't give a shit that this is a weird island. I don't want to move anymore.
Okay, let this really solidify that lesson, right? Like, the dad did it, and now he learned that we don't communicate. We just light shit on fire.
Why didn't you just tell me that? I learned it from watching you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I did it for us, Dad.
Michael doesn't ask what's best for Walt or how Walt's feeling about leaving the island, and Walt just burns his dad's shit without communicating to him that he doesn't want to leave.
Mm-hmm.
It seems like you want to burn something. Maybe we should find something safe for you to burn.
To try these signal fires first.
So yeah.
You're not leaving this cave until you burned out this whole pack of boats.
We roll into the next morning. Michael's setting up shop to start a new raft. Jin comes in with his shit.
Ready to work.
I'm doing it. I'm here.
Ready to run from his problems. Yay.
Boat time. That's one thing. He says boat. Mike's like,
Boat.
all right.
Boat.
Well,
Got it.
Since you didn't burn down the last one, I guess you can help do this one. I'm really sorry I pounded you in the face 1,000 times. Then we get into our little end of the episode montage. We get the track by Damien Rice, Delicate. Love it.
Yeah, they do it again where, they insert it diegetically where Hurley's listening to his CD player, and then that music bleeds over the scenes.
Then we see Shannon and Saeed burgeoning romance.
I was like annoyed with that scene because he obviously has something on his hands because he's like, holding them as if they're sticky, and then he brushes the hair out of her face. And I'm like, your hands are sticky. Don't touch.
His hands are sticky, all right.
Noisy.
Calm down, Saeed. We don't need another Claire on this island. Claire. Oh, it's a pregnant joke.
We don't even need this Claire on the island.
We see Charlie and Claire sitting on the beach, and they are watching Sun walking out to the surf. Now free from whatever still spun out about the fallout from her relationship with Jin ending. She's wearing the bikini from the beginning. And she lets the cover drop away and moves into the surf. She can, for better or worse, do what she wants now.
Yeah.
And so, she's independent and alone.
And then the best part.
The song starts to skip.
I was thinking, how does he still have fucking batteries for that CD player?
Curly taps on it.
Son of a bitch.
30-something odd days those batteries lasted. God damn.
Well, and I was thinking Saeed is 9 seconds away with a string of potatoes, where he's like, I got you, fam.
Yeah.
Jesus. Lost.
That son of a bitch was like, he said what everybody was feeling. Like that was the whole episode right there.
Yeah.
Son of a bitch. Yeah. Lost in translation. There it is. Did we like it? Was it good?
Kim, why don't you start us off?
I did like it, but in the worst way. Or I hated it in the best way. Like, it's necessary. It was the hard conversation that none of them had that the audience had to, sit with, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So, So it was necessary. So it was good.
JP.
I really like this episode. I very much what Kim said. I don't like how the characters are acting, but I believe that this is some real human flaw drama shit that could happen. And it's good character shit, and just enough spooky shit was sprinkled in here where I was like, yeah, that's that lost catnip right there. But overall, I really dug this episode. It was great. Adam?
I would have to agree with both of you. Really good character stuff. Just enough mythology to move the story forward. And a lot of things happening in the episode that the characters needed to go through like resolution to a lot of this. Yeah, the underlying secrets and stuff like that. Like this, they're not going to learn from this, but this is a thing that they could learn from, that secrets are only going to hurt them in their efforts to survive on the island and hopefully get rescued.
Right. This is the beginning of a lot of learning for a lot of people. So it's good.
So
Yeah.
and just like good performances throughout, like man, and yeah, just like the heart wrenching stuff between Sun and Side. Like yeah, like I cried probably 2-3 times.
Yeah. Oh my god.
And,
The dad
and on top
scene.
of that, like
Ugh.
some like camera work that I really like too. Like
Yeah, this-
interesting, dynamically, visually dynamic. So yeah, I dug it.
Yeah, there's some weird pacing with the edit, but
Yeah.
yeah, overall, man, this is a good ass episode.
Yep. So who should we rest a large wreath around their shoulders? Who should take a victory lap? Who, in Lost in Translation, is the Lost MVP? Jim, start us off.
Jin's dad.
Ooh.
Jin's dad
I
wins
like
this one
that.
because he was the only real hope, right? For seeing things as they are. Like, don't shoot on yourself. Everybody in this whole entire episode was shooting all over themselves. Yeah. Oh, I should be this way and I should do that way, or we should have this. And he's the only one. He has the least, but he has the most. He's the only one who sees the real, like,
Yeah.
love him. Love him.
And everyone on this show's dad is a piece of shit or absent or not around. And Jin has this amazing father who he's cut out of his life. And it's like, the guy did nothing wrong. And he still loves his son.
Yeah.
Shame is a hell of a drug, Peter.
JP.
Oh, you know it's gotta be my sweet baby boy, Johnny Rock. Fucking hitting everybody with that dad energy, the fucking knowledge bombs. He's making dinner. He's off grumbling in the jungle. It just makes me smile. And he's not a cop.
So good.
Yeah, that's nice.
There's one rule that happens both off the island and in the real world. No snitching.
It's fair.
Adam, who's your MVP?
Walt.
Really?
Arson solves a surprising amount of problems, become ungovernable.
Oh, I hate you. What?
If something's bothering you, set something on fire.
Yeah.
If it doesn't solve the problem, you'll at least feel better.
Yeah. That's healthy in every way.
Yeah. Hey, I dig it. Let's burn some shit down.
Then, the opposite side of the coin. Who deserves a nice stay in the other's cages? Who should be isolated and solitary and voted off the island? Who is the lost forever? Kim?
Lost Forever is obviously the CD player. Like, it's done. It's lost forever. But no, for real, Michael. Yeah. You are trying so hard to prove yourself, and nobody thought that you weren't like there already. Like, nobody asked you to prove yourself, and you are messing this all up. You are making it worse. Mm-hmm. Sure. You by trying to prove yourself, you are gaining disapproval, especially from me. Pay attention.
Nice. JP?
Byung-han, listen. An enforcer shows up to your house and says, my employer is disappointed, and he doesn't whip your ass, and you still shut down the factory? Yeah, maybe fucking Jin wasn't exactly up to speed on what was going on, but Byung-han should have been, and he needed to get his ass kicked. You need to listen when adults is talking to you.
Right, like, did you really think giving him your dog was like, oh, the factory is shut down, here, take my dog, that makes it better? No, come on, man.
Exactly.
Come on, that was to buy you some time.
Yeah.
I'm disappointed. He didn't take the opportunity to think why somebody might be disappointed and change his behavior.
Yeah. So now you and the fam are eating veal piccata, and I'm going to interrupt your dinner. Adam.
Secretary Byung-han. For giving his daughter's dog away.
Yeah, what a fucking dick move.
You fucking dick. Dude, like, that's what? Okay, yeah, look inward.
Without hesitation, he's just like,
Yeah,
here, take this dog.
take my daughter's dog.
Take
You
this
fucking
well-behaved dog.
You suck.
Real dick move.
Like, I don't even know what else to say.
No, fuck that guy, man. He sucks.
Fucking guy.
That was the creation of a supervillain, by the way.
Yeah.
His
Oh
daughter,
my God.
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah. Full John Wick.
Yeah. So yeah, we got a double Secretary Han for Lost Forever.
Fuck yes. I love how now he's gonna have a stat. Like he's gonna have 2 downvotes, so he'll be on the map.
Yeah, cool. Burning questions? Yeah, no, yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So this is the burning question. Sun seems like really attached to that dog later in the episode. So what did Jin tell her? Like he just came home with the dog one day and was just like, I did this for us.
Listen.
Because if Sun knows where this dog came from,
That's the one instance, though, if Kai brings home a dog and says, I did this for us, I'm going to be fucking happy. So, you know.
Oh, no, for sure.
Right. It's better than I bought you a Range Rover for Christmas. Like,
yeah.
This is a gift that's probably okay.
We have to return the oversized bow.
It's a rental.
And then I guess the other burning question is the handcuff. Like, I can't remember where that came from.
I think we will get the answer to a bunch of questions that we have about this episode when we see House of the Rising Sun 7 months from now.
Oh, good.
And
Wonderful.
then this episode introduces a musical love theme that will eventually characterize Kate and Sawyer's relationship. The track is called "Romancing the Cage," which is pretty hilarious.
It's not Love Shack by the B-52s.
Love Shack, baby.
It was just Black Betty.
Ooh, that's good too.
Kim, thank you for coming back.
Thanks for having me.
We'll have you back in a year when we do the House of the Rising Sun.
Absolutely. I would love to be a part of that. Nothing I like more than weeping in my bedroom. You know,
Watching a show from 15 years ago.
Well, Kim, is there anything you want to plug as long as we're here?
Soup dumplings are delicious. No, I got nothing.
Flavor blasted goldfish.
Only you can prevent forest fires.
Boat fires. Yeah.
Boat fires. Yeah. If you see something, say something.
Specifically when it comes to fire.
And emotions,
I
relationships.
was going to say, only you can prevent emotional trauma with your partner.
Yeah.
If you feel something, say something.
Yeah. Feel something.
It's fantastic.
That's my new favorite campaign. Feel something, say
Feel
something.
something, say something.
Adam, what are we going to watch next time?
Oh, my garage.
What?
I am so excited that it's finally come up. Episode 45 of Lost on Lost coming up in 2 weeks. We are going to be watching season 1, episode 4.
What?
Walkabout, starring
Oh, man.
Johnny Locke.
Oh.
I'm so excited.
Oh my God. The listeners at home can't see Adam's face nor Kim's face. I think we're going through all the stages of grief right now. This is great.
It's gonna be a blast.
I mean, I haven't been rewatching Lost except for like listening to the podcast and watching the episodes that I'm included in. And this is one that I do remember.
Oh boy.
I've been looking forward for this for so long.
Awesome.
But yeah, so thanks again to Kim for coming out and being on the show. And thank you to all of y'all out there listening in Lost on Lost Land. Keep tuning in. I want to do a quick shout out to our new friend Bonnie buying us a coffee. You can donate to the show at ko-fi.com/wearelostonlost if you want to support us with dollar monies.
Yes. And I want to wish Adam a happy birthday tomorrow. Even though this will air weeks after his birthday, I will count it as a very early happy birthday for next year.
Nice. Nailed it.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you for the
Happy
the birthday
55th
wishes.
birthday, you old fuck. Well, thank you for tuning into this episode of Lost on Lost.
Yep. I'm Adam.
Now I'm JP.
You have any idea what's going on the show?
Nope.
Me neither. Lost on Lost is produced and edited by me and JP.
We wish to acknowledge that we live, work, and produce our show on occupied land.
Burbank, California is located on the traditional tribal lands of the Tongva, Chumash, Kizh, and Fernandino Tataviam peoples.
Milwaukee, Wisconsin is located on the traditional tribal lands of the Peoria, Potawatomi, Miama, and Ho-Chunk peoples.
And Lost was produced in Hawaii on the lands of the Kanaka Maoli.
Visit native-land.ca to learn more about the land you live and work on.
You can engage with us on IG, Facebook, and Twitter at Lost on Lost 1.
You can also email us at wearelostonlost@gmail.com or support us with dollar monies at coffee.com/wearelostonlost.
Thanks to Lostpedia and its community of contributors, Danny Schmitz, random.org, and as always, you the listeners for tuning in.
We're hosted at Podbean. You can hear us there or wherever you get your podcasts, except MySpace. We're not on MySpace.
Yet.